Some years ago, I was travelling from Lagos to Enugu, Nigeria, and had a flight with a particular airline. After a 3-hour delay, it was announced that the flight had been cancelled due to severe weather conditions. The issue for me was, my flight was booked the day before, and unbeknownst to me, they had been cancelling flights, but still allowing people to buy tickets. Anyway, eventually, I had to opt to go by road, which was a long 7-hour drive, but I didn't mind because I got to see more of the country. And on my drive, I asked myself, I wonder why Nigeria doesn't have a national airline. Would it solve all these issues with Nigeria's aviation sector? And the answer is probably no. In 2018, the former Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, announced that plans to relaunch Nigeria Air had been suspended. This, of course, was met with outrage, being that 1.2 billion naira was invested into the project. Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa, and you would expect such an economy to produce a national airline. But in order to understand this, we have to go back in time to find out what happened to Nigeria Airways. Welcome to AfroPolitical TV, and you are watching my mini documentary on the evolution of Nigeria's national airline. Nigeria Airways, formerly known as West African Airways Corporation, was founded in 1958. Its routes included Ghana, the Gambia, Sierra Leone, and intercontinental destinations like London and Rome. The 70s was seen as the airline's golden era, as they employed up to 2,400 members of staff and owned about 26 aircrafts. The good old days. Then, in 1983, two things happened. On the 28th of November, a Fokker F-28 aircraft crashed during its flight from Lagos to Enugu, and sadly, 74 people died. On the 31st of December, a coup took place, which removed Shagari as president and gave Muhammadu Buhari the presidential seat, who, by the way, is Nigeria's president again today, but much older. But this coup completely changed the aviation sector, and as you know, when there is a coup, people who were loyal to the previous leader are replaced, and that is exactly what happened in the 1983 coup d'etat. By 1985, Nigeria had 22 aircrafts and over 9,000 employees, and this is when the airline began to decline. Now, I'm sure you, my viewers, are not surprised to hear that this decline was primarily down to corruption and mismanagement. By 1987, the airline was in debt for $250 million, and as a result, they increased domestic flight prices by 100% and international flights by 20%. As expected, sales started to dwindle. This initiated a domino effect as they reduced services and destinations. They started losing customers, especially as it's a very competitive market. In 1991, the airline faced another plane crash which caused the death of 261 people, everyone aboard. And at the same time, new airlines were founded like Bellevue and ADC Airline, which further saturated the industry. In 1994, an aircraft was impounded in London due to a debt amounting £100,000. And things really began to unravel in 1997 when the UK placed a ban on all inbound Nigeria Airways flights due to safety concerns. Finally, in 2001, the government began an investigation which would look into the disappearance of $400 million between 1983 and 1999. And at this point, the airline was beyond redemption. It was clear that a government-owned airline was an opportunity to steal money from many and not a business. $220 million had been invested into the airline, but they were in debt by $528 million. Seriously. In 2004, Nigeria Airways, the overstaffed and mismanaged airline, was liquidated by the Obasanjo administration. However, things began to look optimistic when it became apparent that the Nigerian federal government would be working with Virgin Atlantic to create Virgin Nigeria Airways. In 2004, Virgin Atlantic and the Nigerian federal government signed an agreement to be part owners of Virgin Nigeria Airways. 49% would be owned by VA and 51% by Nigeria. In the first 2 years, they saw great success. They flew internationally, they had up to 1 million passengers, and won Airline of the Year in 2006. So how could they mess this up? First of all, Nigeria had seen so many fatalities from plane crashes from different airlines that the government set a deadline of April 2007 for all airlines operating in the country to recapitalize or be grounded, in an effort to ensure better services and safety. This ended the operation of airlines like Bellevue and Sosoliso. Well, Virgin Nigeria actually met the criteria. So again, how could they mess this up? Well, the federal government began making decisions regarding logistics without the consent of their partner, which soured the relationship. Also, Richard Branson voiced his reasons for pulling out, which were due to interferences from politicians and regulators. In January 2009, Virgin announced they would stop its long-haul flights to concentrate on other things pertaining to Virgin Nigeria and then later reinstate it. But they never did, and by the end of the year, Virgin Nigeria Airways was Nigerian Eagle Airlines. In 2010, Jimo Ibrahim acquired a majority stake in Nigerian Eagle Airlines. Consequently, it was rebranded as Air Nigeria. So who is Jimo Ibrahim? He is the chairman and CEO of the Global Fleet Group, which is a business conglomerate. The group is involved in oil, gas, banking, hotels, and many other industries. Despite this, the operations of Air Nigeria again was short-lived, and flights were grounded in 2012 due to safety reasons. So we have now come full circle, and there have definitely been ups and downs in trying to establish a national carrier. Whether government-owned, partly privatised, or handed over to a third party, it just hasn't been feasible. Stakeholders suggest that the Nigerian government should have as little input as possible, with as little as a 5 to 10% stake. And when reviewing the history of Nigeria Airways, this sounds like a good idea. For now, the possibility of Nigeria having a national airline is unlikely, especially because every time funds are pumped in, there is nothing to show for it, and it's sad to say that its heydays were back in the 70s. And unfortunately, this is just another thing that Nigerians have been deprived of. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it was easy for you to follow. In fact, click the like button if you learnt something new. And once again, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed, as it would show me that you enjoy these videos. In the meantime, please check out some more of my content on my channel, and I will see you next week. Bye.